to Arize. We're going to be going through our performance tracing tab with one of our demo models. If you don't have your data into the Arize platform yet, no worries. You can use one of the demo models that's available in your free account. These models are also available in the Arize documentation, so you can resend them and play around with them as you would like. Let's go into our credit card churn use case. As soon as I click on this use case, you'll be pulled into quick actions where you can get a current status, so performance over time, your dashboards, any monitors that you have set up. But let's look at our performance over time because this is where performance tracing comes into play. If we look at our average accuracy, we're seeing it's about 70%, which is good, but we do see this large drop that happened. So let's figure out what happened in that time period. So if we go to view performance tracing, which is also available on our left-hand side, we first see our data over time. So we're seeing our selected time range here, and then our metrics that we are calculating over that time range. So right now we have accuracy, but it could be any custom metric or any predefined metric in the Arize platform. And I really want to focus in on this underperforming area. So I can select it by zooming in, or if I want, I can rearrange the window and just focus on that exact data. Because as I focus in on this particular window, my accuracy is recalculated. So we're seeing about half the performance, so 35%. We're also seeing an overlay of the volume. So that's what these rectangles, these shaded regions are. This is our volume that's coming into play, so our traffic. And we can see from the block that our performance breakdown is going to vary greatly from when we are performing at an expected level. So this is where performance is good, about 70%, and this is where our performance is very negative. Actually, our performance is even closer to 86%. It was being brought down by this window. So if we want to figure out where this problem is, where this problem lies, we can go into our performance breakdown, and they're ranked by feature importance. If you're curious about feature importance and explainability, we can get more into explainability. There's also an explainability section, but essentially we're rating how important each feature is to the decision that's being made. So right now, our most important feature and what's going to have the biggest impact on our performance looks like it's going to be marital status. So again, this is a credit card churn prediction. So we are predicting who is going to churn via their credit cards. And if we're having negative performance, we're doing something wrong in our predictions. So if we're just thinking about how marital status can impact if someone churns from a credit card, we might be thinking, okay, well, if a couple has a joint credit card and they're together or they're married and then they break up or get divorced, they are probably going to cancel their credit card and they're going to churn from the credit card company. Even if they create a new account or card down the line, they're definitely going to want to cancel that joint account. And what we are seeing really supports this narrative. We are seeing that our worst performance is around divorced. And so those being no longer in a relationship or being separated in a divorce are likely to cancel their credit cards. So we're not doing a good job predicting that these people are going to churn. It's probably a lot more likely that they're going to churn than that they aren't. So this is where a lot of our inaccuracies in our forecasting and our prediction are happening. We're doing a pretty good job at predicting when single folks are going to stay with us. Single folks are less likely to churn if they have their credit card. And then married, some of them are churning. Maybe these are folks that are now creating different accounts and they're changing up their credit cards or they're joining on credit cards. So there's a little bit of turbulence here, but not nearly as much as divorce. So what I can do is actually exclude this slice as a filter. I can also view explainability and I can add the slice as a filter. What these filters are, essentially you can filter by given features and see how that impacts performance. So let me exclude this slice here. So I'm excluding it, essentially adding a blocker to the data, and our accuracy did improve a few percentage points by obscuring that. Now, it didn't have a ton of volume, so that could explain why the performance didn't jump higher, but it did account for a few percent. Another very high feature importance is going to be around our, I can also go by which ones are the most important to which ones are the least important. But going by most important feature, we are also looking at this ratio. I can go into full screen mode as well, but looking at the ratio of utilization. So people that have a low utilization are churning. So if you're not using your credit card very much, you're thinking, why do I even need this? There is a lot of churn involved in that 0 to 0.1 utilization. I can do the same thing and I can add this range as a filter, or I can even view the explainability. If we go to the explainability, we are seeing how utilization factors in terms of feature importance. There are more videos and information on explainability if that's an area of interest to you. But as we see from our performance tracing, we know where the most critical areas are: education level, gender, income category, credit card limit. So also those with a very small limit for their credit cards are also churning. And this gives you an understanding of who's most likely to churn, and can you get better at predicting those? Can you set those folks on a different path? Because each user is going to have their own experience, and customers' utilization is going to matter, especially when predicting churn.